Yo. Welcome into Lights Out.
We on?
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock.
Damn.
It's 8 o'clock. Let's get Lou's phone going forward so we don't have any more issues with that. But we'll wait. We'll wait a couple of minutes. Man, this is going to be a hell of a show we got going on, man. We're over here at Savarese Fight Fit on Bel Air, one of two gyms that Lou Savarese has. And, of course, we're here with Lou. Johnny, you got this shared on mine? All right, we're waiting. Lou's going to get his up. We've got a special guest here. We'll get into it in a minute. But, Lou, tell us a little bit about the gym. What's going on over here at Savarese Fight Fit?
Well, I have the gym. This is the gym over on 4215 Bel Air Street. It's in a really nice part of town, and it's really cool. And we got we're doing some changes, and it's going to be really awesome. We're going to have fighters from the downtown gym, and they're going to be coming over here, and it'll help them subsidize their career a little bit, working with our clients, and it'll be really cool because obviously they know the sport, and it'll be great. And then the clients will, take a liking to the kids and can help out too with coming to fights and seeing the guys. So I'm really excited. Excellent.
Again, Savarese Fight Fit with Lou Savarese, and man, I can't wait to introduce this guy in a minute. Before we get into this, my buddy Grant Miles here with us, Lou Savarese, Johnny J over there helping us out. Thank y'all for joining in. We already got some people that are watching us. Man, Lou, but I wanted to start the show talking a little bit about one of your former fights, and I want to do this kind of on the shows prior to, and we talked a little bit about this, about your fight with George Foreman, and we've talked a few times about this. How did you train for this fight, and what happened during this fight?
Can I just set a precedent here, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
I'd like to, once in a while, let's talk about a fight I won. Maybe I did this fight I won every time. But anyway, I just want to set a precedent because, it's like, hey, we're not going to talk about you with your brother. And
see, I wanted
I'm just saying.
I wanted to talk about the fight you won. I like to talk about that. He said, no, man, let's talk about this one.
No,
so
that's not true.
I appreciate that, buddy.
That is not true.
I'm rooting for you, Lou.
But anyway, it was a great fight. It was kind of my coming out fight. It was, everybody picked me to lose, but Foreman can punch, and he was, he was doing really well in his comeback. And one of the good things for me, anyway, was I had sparred with him a lot years ago when I first came down to Houston. He was making his comeback. When I turned pro, kind of interestingly enough, my pro debut was on his undercard.
Nice.
We fought in Galveston. He had fought. I can't remember who he fought. And the coolest thing for me was the Bionic Man was there, Steve Austin. It's Lee Majors.
Steve Majors, that old Bronco truck that he drove in that movie.
It was so cool. He was at the actual fight. I was like, I was more impressed with him than Foreman. It was pretty cool. But,
very nice.
Yeah, he married.
What else was that show Lee Majors was in? What am I forgetting about? There was another one too.
$6 Million Man.
$6 Million Man.
I thought there was another one though. Am I crazy?
There was the Bionic Woman. That was Lindsay.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
There was a really good-looking girl in that show.
But
he was Fall Guy. Yeah, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny.
But his best feat ever. He was married to Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
That's all you. That's all you got to do. The rest of your life. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, you're good there.
Everybody had the picture. I mean, everybody had the picture of Farrah Fawcett up there. It was unbelievable.
Definitely. So you trained for Foreman. How did you train real quick? Like, how'd you train for Foreman? And then you can say like what happened. You're training. Tell the story.
Well, you have to get guys to emulate your opponent. So we had some big guys, big strong guys. I had Mohammed Abdeen, who's a local Houstonian guy. I had another guy, James Gaines, who didn't really make it too much in the pro, but the guy was just, you could hit him in the head with a Louisville slug, he wouldn't go down. The guy had probably the best chin I've ever sparred with, and we just got a lot of big guys in there that were real durable. And I went to camp at a place where I used to watch guys train up in the Catskills. Actually, the place where I went was where Dirty Dancing was filmed. Hey. It was filmed there.
Yeah.
It was called, and it was a resort called Kutcher's Resort, and it was really neat. So I would do a trade out with them. They would sell tickets to my sparring sessions, and they would give me free, give me everything. It was fun. It was really cool, and it's beautiful upstate New York. So it was a good camp. We had a lot of big guys in there, real durable, and it was obvious the way to beat Foreman was, you had to move a little bit, try and move side to side. And
how old were you?
I was probably maybe 29.
29. Foreman being
maybe,
a little.
I don't know.
Foreman being a little older.
Yeah, Foreman was older. It was his comeback. He might have been 41, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, he might have been 41.
Even in his comeback, though, he could hit like hard.
Oh yeah, he was. It was amazing. I mean, if people really look into it, I was fortunate enough. I got to spar with him a lot. I learned more from sparring with Foreman than probably anybody. And the biggest thing I learned was, you look at the guy when he was younger. He won the Olympics, was an Adonis. I mean, just a physical specimen. And the knock on him was he couldn't go 3 or 4 rounds when he fought. When he fought Ali did the rope-a-dope, just kept his hands up, and he got tired, and then capitalized on that. But then fast forward, 20 years, and he's obviously not in the same physical condition, but could go literally. I've never seen. I told you guys about this before. I've never seen anything before. When I went spar with him, he would have me and 3 other young guys in there, and we would just. I don't know. Have you ever seen this before? So they'd have us. We would line up. They would no rest in between, and we'd all come in fresh. They would have us sparring with each other. It was crazy, and I never seen anybody do that before, and I haven't seen anybody do that after. But he was just, his comeback was so relaxed. So that was the big thing. He'd be in there just really, really relaxed.
What round was it where you go in there, round number 1, you're trying to feel out. You sparred with him before. What round was it where you're like, oh, okay, like this is going to be a long fight?
The first round. I knew him because, even before, to back up a little bit, my cousin Guido, he was my spy, and I told him to go. So they'll do that in some camps. You go watch other guys spar and stuff, and he watched him. I said, how was he? He goes, he was really good. I said, oh, thanks. But he said, he told me, he said, yeah, and he was sparring with a bunch of guys. Yeah. And so anyway, I knew the first round that he was quicker than I thought he was going to be, but he's so smart in there. He really doesn't expend too much energy, and he was really, one thing he did that I remember vividly is he would hit me in the kind of the hips, so it would stop me. It was interesting. I call it a cutoff punch, but he wanted me to be in front of him. He didn't want me to move. So that's what I did. I started.
You mean a cutoff punch, but he didn't want you to go to the side, so he hit you in the hip?
Right, he hit me in the hip, and my hips were so bruised after the fight. It was smart on his part,
Keep you in front of him,
yeah. He wanted to keep me right in the middle, and after a while, I was like, it was like Pavlov's theory when you ring the bell. I was like, when I get hit in the hip, I'm not going to move anymore. Just stay right in front of him and fight. And it worked out. It worked. It was a good fight. It was a very close fight.
So what happened? We talked a little bit prior to us coming on. What happened in the 11th round? What did your corner tell you?
I had my trainer, Potato Pie, was the best. And I had another trainer. He's a great guy, but he wasn't really a boxing trainer per se. He's more of a rah-rah guy but he was in my corner, Tommy Gallagher. He was a character. And he told me the 11th round was the last round. So I went out and I gave him my all, and he made a mistake. That's a big mistake, though. I mean, I came back and I was like, he's like, oh, one more round.
And that actually happened. You're fighting Foreman, and you gave it all.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Bro's fired.
He was a character. Man.
You come back and they're like, you got another
picture
round.
of him. I got to show you guys a picture one day because you don't know what he would ever say at the press conference. I mean, he'd say, and so I got a picture. I'm at a press conference with eyes on. I'm just looking at him like, oh, God. So I have my brother. He's like 3 bills. I'd have him sit next to him, make sure he doesn't say anything too crazy. He would just say, he would say the crazy. He was Daniel Lalonde. Remember Daniel Lalonde? Yeah. He was Lalonde's trainer. And he'd get a lot of guys because he knew a lot of money people. That's how he got me. And he'd bring management to you. But then it was basically you had to use him as your trainer, But he was a character. He was a funny guy, man, real funny guy.
After the fight, did you say anything to him? Like, hey, dude, do you approach him and say something, or you just let it go?
After the fight was one of the coolest. I mean, it was scary in a way, but I don't know if I told you guys, but right after the fight, I had a couple of cuts, and they took us to a trauma center we fought at the convention center in Atlantic City, and me and my brother, we went in an ambulance, we went to the trauma center, and I was getting stitched up, and this lady walked by me, a nurse, and she said, what's your name and what's your birth date? And I was like, I didn't know. It was crazy. So I couldn't remember. And probably 45 minutes went by. I said, get that lady back in there. So she came in. I said, man, first of all, I'm a professional athlete. I don't tell people my age. I was born, and I told her, and I said, and second of all, I don't really like Clinton. I don't consider him a president or whatever. So she started laughing. So she said she does it to all the fighters. But I was scary at that point to realize that could really happen, So
yeah.
Anyway, but it was a great fight. I mean, it was fun. For me, even I tell people in losing, I still won because people didn't think I even had a chance. I went in there and I fought a really tough fight, and it was a very controversial fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of people even that pay attention, like Ed Guido is on right now, but there's a lot of people that have logged on before. We've talked about this fight prior to that said that you won that fight. So, but close. I mean, granted, they're a little biased because they're in New York or whatever.
No, it was a close fight, and George. I mean, he was the man. I mean, that was the guy who was linear. So I had to beat him really handily, and I knew that going in. I mean, I was the opponent, and that's you're not in there to win. I mean, you're in there to give a good fight, but they don't want you to win. But so. Anyway, and another thing on that fight, if you ever watched it, it's really something. I didn't see this till like probably 5 years after the fight, I was watching it, and I saw Larry Hazard, who was the commissioner of boxing. He went over to Foreman, which is really, really, like, you don't do that. He went to Foreman before the fight. Right after the fight ended, he walked over to him and he smiled. He said something in his ear, and Foreman just started smiling. I was like, so he went over and told me he won the fight. That's really messed up. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Larry was dirty.
Damn.
No, it was really bad. You gotta watch it. If we ever watch the fight together, you gotta see it.
Definitely. You guys get a chance. We're talking about Lou Savarese fighting George Foreman. We're over here at Savarese Fight Fit, and you are tuned into Lights Out with myself, Grant Miles, Lou Savarese, and
our special guest.
Man, we got to introduce this guy.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we talked about ages, so I'm not going to do your birthday. Man,
keep that a secret.
We got Austin Dewayne Trout here. This is unbelievable for myself and for Grant. I know you guys have known each other for a while.
Can I say one thing about this guy? I mean, he's. I'm nervous to even bring him on because wait till you hear how well spoken this guy is and everything. It might be Lights Out with Austin Trout. And Lou's guy, man. So I'm nervous about it.
Why are you giving him ideas when he gets done? Now he's gonna have a podcast.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking about it before, but now you brought it up. So it's like, that's a good idea.
No doubt, Trout is joining us.
Off the tongue.
And last thing, and I'll stop. But one of my favorite fights ever was going to see him fight Canelo. I don't know if you guys. It was a fight, man, unbelievable fight. But it was the coolest thing. I drove up there. I rented a limo bus here in Houston, and we went up. It was me, Kylie Wang. It was a really eclectic group. Me, Kylie Wang, his brother-in-law, Mario Lopez. It was so cool. We went up there with a whole
eclectic group.
Yeah. Really, no, it was really cool. We had my friend Alfred Gladself from the Gladself Museum. It was a really great time, and what a fight! It was unbelievable. And knowing Austin is like one of my best friends. Bob Spagnuolo, who was my manager too.
Yeah, that's what
and so we were really vested in that, and it was a really good fight.
Well, a little background on Mr. No Doubt Trout, man. American professional boxer, obviously, who held the WBA regular light middleweight title from 2011 to 2013. Also, three-time light middleweight world title challenger, challenging twice for the IBF title in 2016 and 2017, as well as the WBC title 3 years ago, 2018. 39 professional fights, 33-5, 18 KOs with 1 draw. Did I miss much?
Not at all. I'm sick of those 5 losses, but we'll figure out how to we'll figure out how to erase those.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get into a few of your fights, man, because wow, like for me and for Grant, we've had a few fighters on not this show, but the other sports show that are amazing, but they've already been retired. But to have somebody like yourself on, it's amazing, And we were watching a couple of your fights earlier, and man, I wouldn't fight you,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about. It's not all about me, but it kind of is. But I'd love. Seriously, I know. I'd love to hear just a little about the Canelo fight because I'm telling you, that was one of the best fights I've been to. It was a really amazing fight.
Well, we're going to get into that.
That was the thing that put Canelo really. That was
his next fight was Floyd.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It wasn't for the that slim thin win. Yeah. He wouldn't have gotten the Floyd fight.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trout, No Doubt Trout, fought for his first world title, the WBA regular light middleweight title against intern champ Rigoberto Alvarez, brother of Canelo Alvarez. The fight was scheduled to take place February 5th, 2011 at Arena Coliseo in Guadalajara in Mexico. Alvarez was on a 3-fight win streak coming into that bout. What happened?
So I remember in leading up to the fight, just a little backstory. I was the mandatory for the belt.
Yes.
And I believe Ishida, who had the belt at the time, from Japan, he ended up knocking out James Kirkland, I believe, later on. So he had the belt, and it was supposed to be me and him to fight for the world title once they moved Miguel Cotto into the super champion category. Follow me now. It gets confusing.
And we've this on the show, by the way. The belt situation in boxing is crazy.
It's so confusing. Basically, they just do what they want when they want to. So at the time,
we'll get into that.
They decided that they wanted to make Miguel Cotto the super champion, which escalated me to become the regular champion or to fight for the regular title.
Right.
And so me being the mandatory and the Japanese guy who had the regular title, I was supposed to fight him. I don't know why, but I didn't fight for about
who was
a
the Japanese guy? I can't remember his name.
Something new. It started with an N. Nobuo Ishida.
Yeah, he was tough.
All right, he was. Like I said, he knocked out Kirkland later on after he lost the belt. So a whole year goes by, and I still haven't fought. And I'm asking them, well, let me get a fight, to tune up. They're like, no, you lose your ranking. You just your next fight needs to be the world title.
And you were at number 4 at that point, I think.
No. I was number 1.
You were number 1 contender.
Number 1 contender. It was me, and then there was that Ishida, then there was Cotto. So Cotto super, Ishida regular, then me.
So you went 1 year without fighting.
A whole year, and then it turned into
crazy.
15 months went by.
Damn.
I stepped aside because of the new promoter that we got brought on, who screwed me gloriously.
That's what promoters do.
Yeah. Especially this one. This guy caught a bid. He went to jail. Greg Cohen.
Oh my goodness.
Watch out.
Oh,
Here we go.
Listen, I gotta take a shower just from him mentioning his name. I'm serious, dude.
Yo, he's a dirty.
If I saw him, oh my goodness.
Yeah. He's not being seen too much. He owes a lot of people money. I think he owes the wrong people money.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, I got you.
Nah, he was not a good guy by any means, man.
No, not at all. But he was my new promoter, and for some reason, we stepped aside and allowed Rigoberto Alvarez to fight Ishida for the belt.
I can tell you why.
And I got no money out of it.
I'm sure he got
paid.
some. I'm sure he got
nothing
paid
for it. I was sitting there like, I'm not understanding what happened.
Is this where, Lou, we had talked about prior on the other shows about how people get paid to step aside and then they get fights, and they didn't pay you?
But it should go. No, it should go to the fighter. But no,
yeah.
Greg Cohen, I can guarantee it went to him. I have no idea.
Damn.
I don't need no forensic accounting for that. I can tell you right now.
I finally get the shot. Rigoberto got the belt. He beat the Japanese guy in Mexico, and now I get my shot. And I remember I was nervous because I was used to going into backyards to fight the local guy, but never was a world title on the line.
Yeah,
and so it was a lot at risk, and I was just like, I kind of got screwed out of that deal, and now I'm just doing whatever they want me to do. Like, I don't see any other way me coming out here besides me getting screwed unless I,
handily beat
knock him out or handily beat him.
Yeah.
And I remember that it was the night before I was leaving to Mexico to go, do the pre-fight festivities, and I had a dream that I'm from New Mexico, and we have this Mexican restaurant that we like to eat, real authentic. I say New Mexico has the best Mexican food outside of Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And I'll stand by that.
Arizona. We're in Texas.
Texas. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all don't do it.
Yeah,
That's rough.
I know.
You let Tex-Mex ruin it.
I got an authentic joint down there. We'll take it.
Yeah, I want to try it. So I had a dream that I was in this restaurant, and I asked, the waiter, I think extra salsa or something, and it just pissed him off. And he's ready to fight, and I'm like, look, man, I just want some salsa, man. What the hell? He's swinging on me. I knock him out. The cook come out, the waiters come out. I'm fighting the whole. Yeah, it's a dream. I'm fighting the whole restaurant. It's just hordes of them coming out, bing, bing, and then when I woke up, you're just like, what the hell is?
Yeah.
What was I dreaming that for? And then it just clicked. It was like, you're gonna be okay in Mexico.
You're gonna be all right. If you can knock out the whole restaurant,
you'll be more than fine.
Crazy, you still remember that dream.
Yeah, it was one of those vivid dreams that you don't forget. And I had such a calm over me. And we went there, and I fought in Mexico numerous times. And again, the Mexican people love their fighters, and they love a fighter that will come and give them a good fight, show respect. And that's all they need. Just don't quit. Give them a good fight. Don't quit. Show respect. For the most part. Now, they will boo you if you're not the guy. They'll boo you. But before and after, it's all love. And when I was there, that's the same thing. It's
and Austin being very, very humble. He's really, one of the most liked fighters in Mexico. That's not a Mexican national. They love him down there. He just fought down there again.
Well, you're undefeated down there, aren't you?
So far. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Undefeated.
Well, that's the reason they shouldn't love him. It shows them come down there and beating all our countrymen.
Yeah.
So that really defies logic.
So you like fighting?
I do. They, like I said, they treat you with so much adoration and respect. Something that I was like, man, I could get used to this.
Right.
In fact, after I won the fight, I never had it so much like that. People, just crowds coming to take pictures and autographs, and again, I've never had that before. Even at the airport, they had to not shut down, but the security had to come and disperse the people because they just kept coming and want to take pictures. They saw
awesome,
the fight.
dude.
That's good.
It was crazy, right? So I'm thinking, I'm like, look how crazy it is here in Mexico. Right. Everywhere I'm going, and like, campeón, un photo con campeón, man. And I'm loving it, right? And I'm like, man, wait till I land in El Paso. It's about to go off. I landed in El Paso, went nobody there. It was crickets. I don't even know if they knew.
Yeah.
I don't even know if, not only did they
so
probably
it wasn't far to
know.
go back to Mexico, just run across the border.
Just go right,
right
back.
Before Grant's get to, I know Grant's got a couple of questions he wants to ask you. Probably not a couple, probably a bunch. But you got your daughter here with you.
Oh yeah, Charlotte, no doubt Trout right here.
Yeah.
Charlotte, no doubt
Trout. That's awesome, man.
Like that.
Up here at Savarese Fight Fit, you're watching Lights Out with Lou Savarese, myself, Grant Miles, man, and Austin, no doubt Trout. We cannot be more excited to have you on, my man. Like this is
Can
amazing.
I say something about this amazing young girl? She told me one of the coolest things ever, because I thought my daughter was the only one to say it. When people ask my daughter what's her favorite food, she says sushi, and she said sushi and curry. Yeah, that's very cool.
There you go.
That's a very cultured young lady.
She's got a worldwide palate.
That's good, man.
Made her eat a lot of
That's good.
Food.
That's good, man. But no, like to Lou's point, that Canelo fight. I'm sure that's what a lot of people like to talk to you about, is that Canelo fight.
And like Lou, I like to talk about the wins, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to talk about the Canelo fight.
I mean, it was the fight was so close. I mean, it really could have
But that's why I wanted to bring it up, because the Canelo fight, first was a great fight. And, man, much respect to you and how you fought in that thing. I mean, it was... The beginning of it was great. Middle of it was okay. The end of it was great. Like, man, you fought hard, and much respect to you in that fight.
But a lot of people, the boxing people, a lot of the boxing people were like, they didn't, they knew how tough Austin was, and a lot of people, that kind of was Canelo's coming out fight, in the sense that if he could hang with him, and if it wasn't for, my opinion, if it wasn't for what he dropped you, what round?
I think it was the 7th or 8th.
Yeah, that shows how good. And he won most of the rounds after that. I think if it wasn't for that,
if you go back and watch that 7th round, I got dropped early.
Yeah.
And I whooped his ass the rest of that
round.
And
that's what I'm saying.
Everybody, go back and watch that round. I was pissed, and I just kept belting with left hands. But Canelo is tough, and he's gotten better.
I totally agree with him. I said he's one of every fight, like, he just seems to impress me more. Like some of the fights that, like when he fought Hatton, I mean, he just looks so good. I mean,
your resume, Austin, your resume is ridiculous.
Thank you.
Like, I mean, go.
Well, no, it's just, with the Alvarez. One thing I wanted to ask you that I noticed about the Alvarez fight, Alvarez wanted a rematch clause in the fight, but you said you didn't. Is that correct?
That's a lie. It was a one-sided rematch clause.
Are you kidding?
That's what I read. It said that.
One-sided. So the things that I had stacked up before we got in the ring, I mean, and my manager Bob Spagnuolo, he was like, man, let's walk away. This is bullshit. Everything from top to bottom is bullshit. We need to walk away. And I was just real cocky. I was like, Bob, it don't matter. I'm about to hurt this kid.
I did the same thing.
It don't even matter. None of that shit, man. I asked for this, but like it was a one-sided rematch clause. So basically, only if he lost, he could get a rematch.
I got you. Okay.
Right. And I was like, well, let me get that rematch.
That's not really a rematch clause.
I was like, what about my side? They said, nope, you don't get that side. From the drug testing, I sat there and I said, I want random drug testing. They told me, well, we can't do it. It's not enough time. It's enough time for what? Enough time to educate the fighters on what they can and can't take. I was like, I really need that drug testing right now.
Canelo.
I was like, come on, man. I told him, I said, as far as I'm concerned, I've been in the United States Amateur Boxing Program. I know what I can and can't take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he don't know, then we really need that drug testing.
And especially him living so close to
there's some shady shit that goes on, man. Like,
bad, bro. So whenever they're like, oh, well, then you have to pay the $100,000 for the testing. And I was like, okay, well, then I don't know what to do. My manager gets on the phone with Victor Conti and Vada.
That's the head of it.
Victor Conti said, well, we could be there. There's plenty of time, but he has to agree. It's voluntary. When we relayed that message back to De La Hoya is like, okay, USADA can do it. They'll be there at the end of the week. I was like, oh, so it can be done. Mind you, USADA was just caught destroying samples from, I'm not going to tell, that's my friend, from this guy. He was caught destroying samples from this other guy. When Eric Morales got caught, they hid the positive It still allowed him to fight, and it came out afterwards.
You ever been tested positive?
Wow.
Me, no, never. No,
neither.
never.
Man, how many fighters have you faced that been tested positive?
Probably all of them.
Come on.
I just be like, because of the shady shit that goes
To be
on.
honest,
Like,
they
man,
probably all of
like,
them, but who knows?
crazy.
Because they got them in the pocket.
Holyfield,
Golly.
he definitely took a few.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It even grew
He
his
was
skull an extra inch thick. your skull don't grow.
No, that's what I have a friend.
Right?
I have
That's a good
friend
point.
Who was the GM of the Astros, and now he's with the minor league baseball. And he was telling me that's how they. Tim Purpura, you guys remember Tim Purpura? Mm-hmm. So Tim was telling me, he said that's how they'll tell. Usually, is before they would tell by the hat size gets bigger.
Yeah.
They go from a medium to a large, like on the snapbacks,
I'm
right?
not making that up. True
No,
story.
On the
lie, your
snapbacks,
head
the
is not
snapbacks
supposed
just
to
get
be.
bigger, like three or four buttons.
How you wear a 9 in hat? In a fitted hat.
True.
9 and 3/4, bro.
That's true, dude.
You see him like 6 months later, you shaking hands with him. He's got like a 6.5, 7. Like, hold on, man.
Yeah, he had a 7.5 a week ago. One thing I noticed immediately after the bout, you stated that you didn't underestimate Alvarez, but that you had trained to fight a completely different fighter.
Facts.
So talk about that.
It's because of the open scoring, which was another point that was stacked up. I never heard of an open scoring fight, and really they didn't use it anymore after my fight either. But in the 4th and 8th round, they give you the scores. So then the beginning, the first 4 rounds. And I felt I had him reaching. I was boxing him nicely.
You did. You look good.
He was
those first
coming.
four, man. You
He
were
was
great.
just coming in, and then we go to the corner. I tell my coach, "Oh, he's reaching now. I'm about to start sitting on this shit." He looks at the scores. He goes, "You got to go after him. They're not giving me no credit." I said, "What you mean?" He said, "No judge on any round gave you any." I think it was And
So
I
they
thought
show you the score, just for the listeners. They show you the score after the 4th round,
After the
Who
fourth
was
so you
that?
can
Was that
see it,
Lou?
and they don't do that anymore.
Who
Yeah,
was
that was
saying?
Lou.
Louis Burke, yeah.
Lou was like, "They're not giving you no credit. You can't box. They're not appreciating it. You got to go after him. Got to go after him." I was like, damn. So after that 4th round, I just started putting my hands up, getting aggressive, end up getting caught walking towards him and
That's hard
whatnot.
to do, man.
That wasn't my game. We were just going to do what we were doing, what was working.
Yeah.
But they didn't let it work.
And I think first off, why did the trainer tell you that? But he has to, because think about it, man. You got to try to win the fight. You got.
But
that goes to
and at
what-
the same time, too,
Yeah.
Canelo knew that, too.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there thinking, well, I just lost all 4 of those rounds, and they gave it to me. I don't have to do nothing but just stand up.
Well-
So if you notice, he started running. I've never seen Canelo on his bike as much as he was that fight until he fought Triple G.
Yeah.
So other than that, I've never seen him moving and doing all this shit. You know what I mean? He's usually in your face. He started running after that, and
You're gonna have a chapter in my book. It's called "Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Boxing and More."
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I got some stories about
Oh, I
things
bet
you
you
don't want to
do.
know.
Oh, Bob's got a couple million stories.
I was about to say, Bob, he'd be the biggest source.
He's tainted.
on that
My
one.
manager, our manager, he's a little bit tainted. I call him every time. Every story ends the same way.
Well, hey,
Oh, I can't say this young lady. It's not good. It's not
Definitely.
good. That's about the time I got.
The funny thing about Bob too,
Yeah.
and it's a real quick story. I was hanging out with Mike Tyson. I know it was crazy, man. Me and
Wow, Mike
Mike Tyson,
Tyson.
hanging out.
Okay.
And we're just talking, telling stories, and I'm like, Bob's my man. He said, Bob Spagnuolo. They ain't run him out of boxing yet. Everybody fucked Bob over. He was like, everybody fucked Bob over,
That's
man.
Bob.
I can't
Oh,
believe
okay, he said it.
Yeah,
That's what Bob
straight up.
always says.
He
That's
was like,
when
man,
I took out my knee pad. Bob. I can't talk. I said, Bob, man, you're so tainted. That's about the time I got bit in my, what I'm talking about.
Listen, I want to welcome everybody for the others y'all that are here. I saw a couple of people walk in. Man, thank y'all for paying attention to Savarese Fight Fit
Dude,
over
I'm
here.
pumped up. You got another great fighter here, Craig.
I know. So that was
Cracking Craig Callahan.
Yeah, I was about to mention we got Craig Callahan, Olympic team 2010 for England, won the gold medal for England. Used to spar with you.
Yeah, man. Me and Craig, we go way back.
Yeah.
Definitely when he was, I think it was like 3-0.
I saw him hit the
Just
bag.
started,
Woo.
yeah.
They call him GF. That's his nickname, dude. GF. Man. But gender fluid. He's first. Dude, it's unbelievable. First gender fluid guy to come.
That's 2021.
That takes courage, man. Anybody can fight.
You
He'll
got to
come
tell
in.
the people this story about River Oaks. Like you said it right before we started. What the story about River Oaks?
No, I was giving a speech to, and I told my friends in New York to make fun of me giving a speech. But anyway, I was giving a speech, and Craig was some guy came up and said, "Hey, would you mind if I, bring my friend?" I said, "Yeah, of course. I'm a big fan." I said, "He trains in my gym," and so anyway, I said, "The greatest thing about him," I said, "He just came came forward for his people, and he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, he's come out really big for the LGBT whatever community." And anyway, I got up and when I started the speech, I said, I had a whole speech plan, but I said I'm so excited about my friend, and he comes to my gym, great fighter, unbelievable fighter, representing the UK in the Olympics. I said, but the thing I'm most proud of him is for what he's done to the LGBTQ community. And he stood up and goes, "I'm not gay, I'm not gay."
The only dude in the whole room, and I mean, from Houston, if you're in River Oaks, man, the ritzy part of the town, but that's a good one. But
but we got to make some money. What are you gonna do?
They support.
Craig Callahan, man, we appreciate you coming in, man. He's got his awesome. But yeah, we're over here at Savarese Fight Fit with Lou Savarese and Austin, no doubt Trout. Already getting into some incredible stories, man. Thank you again for joining us. We're the beautiful daughter here. Grant, what else you got for Mr. Trout?
Well, so he called me out a while ago about the loss. So I'm gonna talk about the win. I'm gonna talk about what probably I would guess was a huge win for you in your career, Miguel Cotto.
The most famous win. Yeah, I had some good wins that nobody got to see.
Oh man, I gotta ask you a question about that. How was Cotto's body shots?
You know what? They were good.
Yeah.
They were strong, and I knew I was gonna have to get your little ass back there, bro. Because every time when we was close in the cleansing, he threw a good body shot.
Yeah.
I would you would almost fold me over. So I knew. In fact, Bob even got us a special cup that was gonna put a little extra padding because he's really notorious with the low blows.
I didn't even know this dude Bob, but I feel sorry for him.
Already. He's a vast of stories, man. I mean, unbelievable.
Got to get Bob on the podcast.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to get Bob on here, man.
The thing about I got a kind of cool story about Cotto. So I was at a Cotto fight, and there was a guy, Paulie Maggiani. I don't know if you guys remember him. He's an announcer.
Yeah, we know Paulie.
And he was just real cocky, but not in a bad way, but real. It just wasn't my style, so I didn't really have a. But I was in the front row when he fought Cotto, and I was saying, man, he was just taking some of the toughest body shots, and I had so much respect for him. And Lou DiBella was his promoter, so I called DiBella. I got his number. I called him. I said, "Hey, buddy," I said, "Listen, man, I'm so proud of you." I said, he said, "I lost." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, you showed so much heart in that fight.
For real.
He could have went down a couple times, could have quit, never quit, and wound up. He lost the fight, but it was just unbelievable.
He had the broken jaw too.
Yeah,
it was swollen.
For me, I changed my whole image of the guy.
Well, and not only that. That dude was 8-0 in MSG when you went in there. So in Madison Square Garden, he was 8-0 in there.
Puerto Ricans in New York, you know that, right?
Whoa, yeah.
Well, did you know this? There's more Puerto Ricans in New York than Puerto Rico. True story.
That's a fact.
From what I see, but I look at that, and I look at when you go to Mexico, you go to MSG, you go to all these places. You're basically going into the lion's den when you go and fight these fights. Where like when I was watching the walk up on the fight, like. I mean,
they booed the hell out of
you. They booed the hell out of you. Yeah. I mean, you were the defending champion coming into there, and you were almost kind of the underdog.
Yeah, nobody knew I was the champion because, in fact, Cotto made it that I had to come out first and announce first, like as if no respect.
Because normally it would be switched.
Man, you told me so many stories already of how you get effed over.
Dude,
so I definitely had to beat his ass for that.
To me, as a fighter,
there you go.
To me, as a fighter, I got too big. Well, not anymore, but I had too big of an ego back then. I would never. That would make me crazy. I didn't know that. That would make me crazy.
But then you went out there and whooped his ass.
Whooped his ass. Yeah. And not to mention he was undefeated in the Garden, but he just gave Floyd Mayweather one of the most competitive fights Floyd's been in. Yeah. And Floyd at the time too was super untouchable, and Cotto touched him a lot. I don't know if you remember that fight, but you seen Mayweather's face. You know what I mean? After the barrage, he's like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? I don't know.
Cotto was fun.
Nervous, in his ass.
Nervous.
And so I remember the build up for the fight. I was at a Showtime fight, Danny Garcia, Eric Morales rematch, and they did the interview, and I was like, "Look, y'all, I'm about to beat Cotto worse than Mayweather did." And they're like, I don't. Well, we'll see, champ. And then I proceeded to whoop his ass worse than Floyd did. Worse than Canelo did.
After that fight, did you ever have talks with Mayweather?
As a matter of fact, hell no. Matter of fact, so I'm in the ring, and they haven't even announced it yet, right? I get a call from Al Heyman, and he's like, "Good fight, champ. But just so you know, I don't need you calling out Floyd Mayweather right now."
Oh, they're protecting him?
And I was like, Well, not protecting him. You know, it wasn't
But
a fight. Good.
You
fight
weren't
for
with
him.
Al at the time, though.
I was with Al at the time.
I remember.
But I was like, no, that's cool, Al. I'm not even looking at Floyd. I'm trying to get Canelo next. So, that's what I'm going to call out, right? He's
You were going back.
Okay, cool.
You wanted to go back to Canelo.
Well, it wasn't back. That was before I fought.
That was before. That was prior.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I fought Miguel, I called out Canelo, got the Canelo fight next. Same thing happened, though, the Canelo fight. I get the call. Good fight, Austin. I don't need you calling out Floyd, though. I was like,
Jeez.
who else is there to call out?
Holy
though?
shit.
Who else?
Yeah.
Man.
Man, I'm learning a lot today.
And he's just
I know,
Yeah.
dude.
I love this. I
the thing is-
absolutely love this.
The thing is, it wasn't that Al Heyman didn't want me to fight Floyd. It was just he didn't want the talks of that fight.
Yeah.
happening.
I got you.
And not that the fight would have happened because I didn't have a whole country behind me like Canelo or Cotto.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was just trying to get my state of New Mexico behind me. I was just spoiling. I was spoiling people's plans. When I beat Cotto, that screwed up the Canelo-Cotto fight. Well, it postponed it anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Cotto had two countries. He had Puerto Rico and the U.S.
And New York.
Well,
yeah.
New York.
Do you
Yeah,
think
it's a
now,
New York country.
like Grant had mentioned earlier about how popular you are in Mexico now? Do you think because you put up these fights against these Mexican fighters now they respect you instead of
Yeah,
booing you? Now
absolutely.
you go down there, they're like, oh man, he's beat the best that we have to offer.
Absolutely.
Like, and that's why they love you down there.
And they do. They show a lot of love, and I'm looking forward to go back. I want to keep fighting.
I know Grant's got a bunch more.
Get a good one.
What's like before we? I want to ask this so I don't forget. What's your next fight? What's your future plans?
Well, just so everybody knows, he just fought Juan Garcia.
Saturday.
Yeah, but
Gotta
in
win.
UD in 10 rounds. So, man, that was your first fight in a year.
Yeah, it was a year layoff. It was
And why'd
my
you go
second
10
fight.
rounds?
Yeah, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to go the whole 10. I did want to get rounds in because this is my second time trying to make
that's great.
147. So I've gone down in weight, and I made 148 this last fight. I wanted to see what like. I had a high punch output. This guy Juan can take a hell of a beating is what I can say. It got to
you
a
don't
point
look like
where
if you fought Saturday, this is 4 days
I'm
ago.
all right.
Hey, you all right?
then
Like-
my dude, I had to throw my outfit away. He got blood everywhere. I even after I hit him with a good combination, he still ain't fall. I just looked at the ref like, you might have to do this.
That was in the 10th or 9th or
That was
10th?
in like the 7th or 8th. You know what I mean?
Something he's saying is amazing to me. Just listening as a fighter, he's a little bit older now, but he's fighting at a weight down. I mean, that's a commitment, man. That's
Well,
a big
that's what I
commitment.
was going to
That's
ask.
amazing, man. It's
So is 155 a weight up for you?
Yeah, that's the weight class I was at. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
name my whole time.
That's Mayweather.
So, no,
Canelo-
now I'm
Oh,
going
no.
down to 50 to
Yeah.
47. That's the Mayweather. That's the
Brian
Brian
Garcia,
Garcia,
yeah,
Danny Garcia.
What do you want next?
Well, I want a world title. I want
Can
to
I
be
say
able to
that?
get
Can I
back
answer
in.
that for you?
Yeah.
You want money, man. That's what
Yeah,
you want.
yeah. I mean,
Forget all
okay.
this
You want
crap,
money?
Totally
Thank you,
understandable.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I want a world title, but I want the money that comes with the
Yeah,
world title.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, who's in line for you to fight for the world title and money? Like, who's in line? What do you got to do to get to a world title fight?
I just think I need, maybe another win. Maybe another win. They might give me a call now. I got to win, but
That'd be great if they call right now. The
you know,
show would blow
absolutely.
up.
right now
love
the champions at 47 is Spence, and he has a couple of those belts. Terrence Crawford.
That's a-
Oh,
believe,
Crawford, that'd be a good fight.
But look, guys, one of the things I just realized,
You guys, yeah.
is that this is going to be there's going to be a lot of people looking for Austin because not that I believe it, but a lot of Austin will tell you what happens is guys now he's coming back. It's good, so they're going to think they have an easier touch than normal. But he's got a great name value. He's very, very desirable right now.
A good draw.
I just thought you.
It's a
because-
good name. You're
yeah,
right.
well, you look at it, the smart fighters that they always come back. They don't want to fight guys that are on top of their game, at least perceived to be that way. He's going to be really desirable right now.
Well,
and they're going to sleep on me like they
Yeah,
did before.
Yeah, they do.
Well, and that's
They'll
what I
do it.
see,
Yeah, it's
man. When
great.
I'm sitting here looking, and that's why I was bringing that up earlier about all the places you fought. Is it seems like it's just kind of you're a little bit under the radar there, and especially you fought twice in 2 years, almost 3. You fought twice, right? I mean, so you're just kind of ramping up, and ready to take the challenge.
See, the biggest issue for me in my last, and a lot of those losses that came, if you look at it, I coming off a layoff and then fighting the killer. When I fought Jamal Charlo, I was off for 15 months.
Yeah, 15 months.
that-
Yeah.
And then I
No.
fought Jamal. And then I was off for 17 months directly after that, and then I fought Hurd.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm not that type of fighter. I need to stay active so I can stay sharp, and I hope and pray that those layoffs preserved me in a sense.
What's a normal layoff for you?
I would love to only be off a week and get back in camp. You know what I mean?
Like your next fight, like.
But the good thing about it, sorry for interrupting,
No,
his management. Bob knows that. I mean, he's been around for a while, or whatever. But I agree with it's hard, man. I mean, I can't. So but people that know that are going to be looking at him now and saying, well, I'm going to get to it's going to be a great win for me. I don't want to, and it's going to be a big mistake. But same thing with me. I mean, I had just come off a loss. That's why I got Douglas. Douglas would never fought me if I was on top of my game.
Right.
He just thought Aram. They thought it was an easy touch. In fact, this is going to go down probably in history. It's the first time ever they didn't ask for and he'll know about it, but they didn't ask for any options. Because he knew Aram knew I was going to lose, so he took no options. But yeah, it was crazy. He took no options because he knew I was going to lose. But normally they would do that because they get you can share in both. So even if I lose, they would, and he had an option on me, he still would have been my next promoter he had co-promoting as a fight, but he didn't do it, and he sued me anyway. Because he could. He sued me and I gave him $200,000 because I had to. If I didn't, I wouldn't have got the Tyson fight. So.
That's a good segue into suing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no.
Yeah, and he was he didn't want to get a lawsuit with Aram. He was first in his class at Harvard Law.
Yeah, I was about to say he's a lawyer himself.
Yeah.
And now he was on the district attorney. He's you don't want to mess with him.
No,
King, King we don't want to mess with some different way, but Aram, you don't want to get a lawsuit with him.
Well, when you talk about, so like you said, like transition, I noticed this too, and you're not only fighting in the boxing square, you're also fighting outside it in the courtroom.
It's very hard too. I don't know if Austin agrees because you want to concentrate on your fight and you want to be, but if you're not involved in the business, that's you're gonna get
you're gonna end up
screwed.
there.
I told you guys.
And there's no way that you know as much as all these attorneys and all these promoters, whatever. So you kind of get yourself like there's no like you're caught in a catch-22, right? So you're a good fighter, but you can't necessarily self-promote yourself because you don't have all that money and the attorneys and all that stuff. So yeah, you need a whole team, which costs a lot of money, like you said, like a machine, and that all costs money. So then you're just like, what do I do?
I think I told you guys. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was my manager, but the reason why I signed with these guys is because I needed money. I mean, that's what that's one of the things I don't want to get too far off on a tangent, but one of the things I want to do in the gym on a lower level at this gym. I got a 501(c) now. It's going to be really cool. We're going to have guys come from the downtown gym where they're all fighters, and Austin will tell you, like, people think maybe, I don't even know, but maybe 1% of fighters make enough to put food on the table, let alone get a good living. But the hardest thing is when you're first starting out, because if you got money behind you, you can get wins like they did with me. Right. I got my first 4 or 5 guys with nobodies. I mean, they're terrible, just so I could build my record up. But a young guy can't do that, let alone, so that's what I want to do here, to be able to make some money and they can, hopefully, fund their career or whatever. So,
well, we got a couple of listeners real quick that are asking a few questions. I'll just get to a couple of them before we jump into that. Sam Aguilar says that Canelo cherry picks fights. Do you think that that's what he does? Since we're talking about how fighters kind of set things up and whatever, like they're saying that's casual now and that's normally what fighters do.
Well, see, and just a little boxing history, it's not new.
Yeah, of course.
Fighter, if you look at the greatest Mexican fighter of all times, Julio Cesar Chavez, look at some of the records he fought. You know what I mean? 0-15, 0-21, 0-35. And he was already champion at the time he was fighting. Yeah. So it's like to say Canelo cherry picks, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't say that. I say, he deserves to make a lot of money to fight nobody.
But sure, he can pick,
and he'll make a lot of money fighting somebody, and he's fought a lot of somebodies.
Yeah.
But the fight he's got next, I don't know who he is or what appeal is, but Canelo's a star. So
we got Steve Roman ask, can you ask Trout who was the toughest fight between the Charlo twins or Lara?
Lara was the toughest fight. I've never wanted it.
I was nervous for him to fight Lara.
Yeah,
that's
Lara.
A guy, I was like, wow, and I respect him so much. Dude, he's a hard guy to fight. A lot of people won't fight him. That's really.
Definitely, every fight that I've been in, and every fight that I lost, I've always wanted one more round. Like, if I had one more round, except for the Lara fight,
really?
I couldn't wait for that fight to be over. I'm like,
I was nervous.
What
I was
round?
really nervous.
Damn, it's the 10th.
I can't believe Bob. Was Bob all right with that fight? Because
he wasn't.
Bob
this was
will be
the
nervous,
time
man.
where Bob, Al Heyman was pushing the fights, and Bob didn't really have too much say in it, but he didn't like it.
No, I
Well, and that
nervous,
was tough
man.
right after Canelo, right?
I told Al though. I said, give me the toughest motherfucker you can find.
you got him.
I want
So he did
fight
what
that
you told him
nobody
to.
wants. And he's like, okay, here's Lara. And I was like,
So
yeah.
who do you like? So we got about
Bad
15
idea.
minutes left. Who do you want next?
I mean, if it was the perfect world, I'd love to fight Keith Thurman next.
Really?
I think
All
that
right.
would be a great fight, great style for me. It's a good highlight fight. If not Thurman, then I would take Porter. If not Porter, I would take definitely Danny Garcia. I would
So
love
just so you
that
know, I
fight.
got
That
the
would
ratings
be-
from the ring. I got him up right here. So
Yeah, that's what
so
you're
he's
looking
looking
And then
at
that could segue to give me a Spence fight.
Remember what I said last week about Holyfield? Because that's the same thing. Holyfield didn't. He started out because they didn't really care about him. They got him for like next to nothing because he had that when they said in the Olympics when he hit the guy with the bell. But Holyfield, if you look at his record, he fought everybody from day one. It was great. His like fourth fight. He fought Ricky Womack. He fought all tough guys. Man.
He wasn't
It was
playing.
great. Yeah, well. It wasn't because they didn't care
Didn't take
about
care
him.
of him.
No, they didn't. They had at that time it was perceived the really great guys were going to be Meldrick Taylor, Tyrell Biggs, all these
That's
guys.
right.
But Holyfield, they just picked him up for next to nothing.
That's crazy. But you want to talk about real quick your WBO
Oh, let's
situation
talk about
you got?
It. Yeah,
Just so everybody knows, there's a man. You filed this thing or you and a bunch of
5
other
years
people.
ago.
Yeah, 5 years
well,
ago.
it's me and my manager Bob Spagnola that are on this lawsuit.
And so you just won an appeal, correct?
Correct.
Pretty recently. So you have a $40 million lawsuit filed against the WBO. What you can say,
Yes.
what's the reason for it?
Reason being, at 2015, I was in the height of the comeback. I was like a 3-fight winning streak. I was ranked number 4 in the WBO.
Yeah, it was 4.
Demetrius Andrade, he was the champion at the time. He was inactive, so they were about to strip him. So it went, I believe, Canelo, Michael Soro, somebody else, and then me, right? And Canelo was about to fight Cotto for the WBC middleweight. That takes him out. Michael Soro had some promotional issues. He couldn't do it. Took him out. So it was going to be Liam Smith and me to fight for the vacant belt.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, they pull me out of the rankings. Mind you, I was on a 3-fight win, 3 knockout winning streak. They pull me out the rankings. My manager.
Why?
Exactly. Why? I don't know. Well,
Just
I mean, I
they
know
allowed
what
to
it's
do.
about. That's
what it's about.
That's the lawsuit.
The same
That's the
reason.
lawsuit.
The same reason dogs lick their balls because they can.
It was like, why?
Because they
Because
can.
they can.
So that's what we were trying to
man.
figure out. We say, hey, we should be fighting for that title shot. They're like, what? Nah, what? We don't. Nah. The goes on. Liam fights John Thompson, knocks him out. Is the champion. On that card, there was 9 WBO title fights.
Wow.
So that promoter Frank Warren, obviously
From the
my
outside,
buddy.
yeah.
Let
obviously
me tell you
cut a
about
check.
Frank Warren. Okay, real quick. I got a vent here.
No.
So I fight
do it. Let's
Tyson.
do it.
But he's doing drugs. 2 hours before the fight, I'm venting here. I don't hold anything against him, son of a bitch. But anyway, so no. Hold on. Let me focus here. I get off on a tangent. So anyway, he does that. They didn't drug test me or Wisnator. But then I get paid $1 million. Warren forgets to pay me. And so I have to hire a lawyer to get my money.
Damn.
I
And it
hired a
cost
guy-
you half your money, probably.
Yeah, no, seriously. I had to hire a lawyer in New York, Steenson Sermons. I hired them. I had to sue him to get my money. Nice
Jesus.
guy. I like it,
For those of y'all that don't know, man, pay attention to Lights Out with Lou Savarese. Look us up on a podcast, man. We're on everywhere you get your podcast. Talk to Alexa. Look it up on iTunes. We're on there.
I still
we're
got
on
some more
YouTube.
venting, man.
I know.
Real
But
quick.
Let's go. Let's go.
So anyway,
We're just resetting here.
But Bob, my manager, was so smart. He hired a lawyer in New York to make sure I got paid not in English money, pounds. I get paid in dollars. And he hired this other lawyer. Came through, but did everything, and it was just a waste of money because he didn't. Not only did not pay me, and so I had to get. It was crazy. The Inland Revenue Service, so I wound up making like literally a quarter of the money I should have made.
So on $1 million
Because of a nice
fight,
guy.
you walked away with
It's like
$225.
$250. Yeah.
Damn.
Frank Warren. I really love Frank Warren.
Frank, I
think-
can't stand the guy.
Oh, I'm
either.
joking.
Yeah, it was real sarcastic.
I would beat him like a redheaded
When he said
stepchild. dude.
Even like I was saying, there's 9 WBO titles on this card. We're sitting there throwing a fit, emails back and forth. What the fuck? Come on, that should have been us.
Right.
Make it right?
Yeah.
So then the answer is finally saying that it was, whoops. It was a
No, it
mistake.
wasn't whoops. It was money.
Right.
No,
But it's already done at that
they,
point.
Right, it's already
made,
done.
They made money promoting.
They
Frank
made
Wine.
money.
There you
Frank
go.
Wine
And
made money.
what they didn't do is they, instead of putting me back into the rankings like as the mandatory and say, okay, well 50-50
Right.
split or whatever, they put me back ranked like 7. And then they said, well, you can get a title shot, but it's going to be an 80-20 split. Like,
Oh.
no.
Lord.
We got to do
Right.
like as if it was the
80-20.
vacated, 50-50.
So just so anybody listening to it, just so you can understand what's going on. Imagine,
now,
I would
bro.
assume, imagine in a college basketball tournament, you got the top 4 teams, you got one team going to the Final Four, and all of a sudden the committee goes, well, you were the 4th. We're going to put you back in the Elite 8.
Exactly.
And that, I mean, just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
For no reason. For
Yeah.
no reason. And then, of course, you're doing this on the Ali Act. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
My
Exactly.
bad.
Okay.
And in the WBO's rules, it says that they have to give you a reason why they take you out. It has to be a written
Had they given you
reason.
anything?
No, they didn't do it. They didn't do nothing that.
Well,
they
and
said
that's
they were
what your
supposed to
appeal
do.
was, to
So
get
that's
it.
what we're saying.
Yeah.
So when we went through the court system and went through this, we went to depositions and we went through all that. And then, we were like, okay, now it's time to basically go to trial. And then they're like, oh, no, we need to go to arbitration. We're like, well, why did we go through all of that
For
to
years.
Yeah.
still go to our no? So we fought that, and not to mention the WBO can put whoever they want as the arbitrator.
And you're trying to halt that, right? Oh my god.
Right, and so we were like,
I wonder why
that's
Bob's so
not fair.
tainted about
Yeah.
boxing. Dude,
I know, man. This is crazy.
I'm not
dude.
trying to
It's
deter
nuts.
anybody from getting into sport because boxing is absolutely amazing. It got you where you
But
are.
listen,
got-
let me
got
tell
Lou
you,
where
the
he
good
is.
thing is, so we fought that arbitration act. Well, it's not the arbitration act because that's a federal
Yeah.
thing, but
Yeah.
that arbitration clause they had, we fought it. So we went to Boston, the Supreme Court. They ruled that shit ain't fair. Take that back to the
Yeah.
district, right? So basically, no fighter has to go through that anymore. They shouldn't. If you have a
Nice.
decent lawyer, the lawyer can say, no, sir. In Trout versus WBO Supreme Court ruling, they ruled that this is bullshit. So we just skip that.
that's kind of an oxymoron, a decent lawyer. No offense.
So they can
I'm a
just
little
cite that, so fighters won't have to go through that.
Well, good for you
anymore.
for sticking
Yeah,
up,
dude.
and now
Absolutely,
you
man.
might have something that younger fighters
If
coming
nothing
up.
else,
Yeah, if nothing
you know.
else, younger fighters can come up and they can
Absolutely.
they can you represent them through your trials and tribulations as a fighter.
I'm telling you now, like we taking this to the end, and once it's all said and done, these belts are gonna have to change how they do business,
I hope.
and that's gonna be a good.
We talk
thing.
about that all the time.
One important thing is I'm not a big lawyer fan. So, guy walks into a bar and yells, "All lawyers are a bunch of assholes." This guy walks up and says, "I resent that remark." He goes, "What are you, a lawyer?" He goes, "No, I'm an asshole."
I'm still in that one, Lou.
Yeah, I love Lou
copyright
Savarese.
it.
Yeah, that's
Lights
great.
out with Lou Savarese. This is amazing. We got about 8 minutes left. You want to go over some history
I
real
got more
quick?
jokes. No, I'm joking.
Nah,
No, I love your
Hey,
jokes, dude. Keep going, man. I'm all about it. Well, man, normally, see, that's why it's tough doing stuff like this. We got Austin here, man. I want to
Just
just
get
keep
some
talking,
highlight
man.
points.
But I want to talk about some things. So, like I was telling you kind of a little bit before, we talked a little bit about
Do we have
history.
any happy stories?
Yeah.
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 you know.
Okay. There you go. Like,
I got
yeah,
happy stories. I can
what's
tell you
a
about
happy
how I
story?
smoked weed with my mom. About how, like,
That's pretty. That's a
I was
pretty
in
good story,
Jamaica.
man.
Like, I mean, when in Rome.
When in Rome, baby.
At the same time, I was also Shabba Ranks was there, and he was. Listen, I swear, this is a true story.
Shaba.
So yeah, exactly. Like, so we were at this resort, and Shabba Ranks is putting on a concert, whatever. And I go up there, like he's having some guests come up and dance, right? So I go up there.
Don't
and
tell me you danced.
I did. I won the
Oh
little
my
dance
God.
competition.
It's like dead
And he
man.
won.
I won.
Get out. Yeah.
So,
he won the white boy
I
dance.
swear to you.
There was
So
two people.
the lady comes up to our table afterwards. She hands my mom a business card and said, "Hey, we would like to have him on Shabba's next video. We'll fly to New York. We
You're
get back to
lying.
Houston. Yeah, I'm making this all up on the fly. So
Now I got respect.
we get back to Houston, and they reach out to us and call. My mom, I was 15 years old at the time. My mom would not let me go to New York by myself. Couldn't go be on the
Mom.
Shabba Ranks video. Like ruined, like my one chance.
Ruined
like,
it. That was
damn,
gonna be
man.
it.
That was it.
Can he
But
dance?
when you smoked with your mom, because she handled her shit.
Well,
was
it was
she
the
losing
same
it?
story. It was funny as hell. Like so.
Dude, I gotta see you
that.
dance.
You handle her
So
shit.
in
I like
Jamaica,
that.
like back then, like they give, so you pay these guys $20, $25, and you go into a field with it. They give you a little bag.
Yeah.
You know, you can fill up. Just go cherry picking.
Hold
you
on,
know,
where is
weed.
this place?
It's in Jamaica. Like that's
Okay.
it's Jamaica,
But man,
right?
We
you
had
gotta
a video of
dry
him
it. It's gonna
dancing.
take a
Yeah,
little while
so
to
my
dry
brother,
it,
my brother being the
you know.
connoisseur or whatever that he was, we went back to the hotel room. He got the blow dryer out, done the
Yeah.
shit out of it, right? So, and I I don't really smoke, right?
Dude, you got knocked out by a pothead? Oh, my God. Go ahead. Sorry. That was
Yeah,
you weren't here, but his brother knocked him out.
He did. All right. So, I'm not a big pot smoker or whatever, but I take a couple hits of this, man, and I sit down on the damn bed, man. I swear, I felt like I was flying through the hotel, like flying down. So my mom comes in. She had the car. She comes in, and of course, the room reeks of weed. She's like, "What the are y'all doing?" I'm like, "I'm high. I don't know." Like, I just so my mom grabs it. She's like, "Oh, she lights up too," and I'm like, "Oh my God, my mom's smoking weed." I was like, "No way." So we had dinner reservations with my stepdad. My mom, my brother, and myself go down to dinner, and we're lit.
Hey,
and my stepdad has no clue.
I got a question.
Mom handled it better than he did.
Don't take.
Oh, yes, she did. I was paranoid as
I gotta
shit.
ask you a question. Did Shabba Ranks, is that his name? What's his name?
Yeah, Shabba Ranks.
Did Shabba Ranks want you in the video because it was for like entertainment value? People were gonna laugh
I
at
could
it because you know what I mean?
Remember, he used to break dance. Remember that? Remember, he told us that story
I was
over
a
and
good
over
dancer.
again. He's told us
Okay.
about
All
it.
right, so he knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
So it
I
wasn't
knew
for
what I was
it
doing.
wasn't for comedic value.
No, it
look
was
at the white
true.
guy dancing like
No, I
that
was
man walking.
good. I
They
was
probably
good.
didn't. They weren't expecting that. That's
No,
what it was.
jumped up and
like
said-
you
he was
jumped
like,
up and
"Oh,
you started.
shit."
Hey.
Yeah, I was jamming.
Did you have the same
I was
head?
really, like, I was doing the little like.
Oh, look at that.
I was going all it. Yeah.
Did you have the same head, dude? Like,
I went to
with
the
it.
floor on my back.
Yeah.
Shit.
They were like, I was
Bro,
15.
We
They were
gotta
like,
go. We gotta go together.
Let's do it.
Oh, hell no. You went on the back?
Yeah, I did. I was on.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
wow.
good.
You slow whining it.
He said, all you got to do is give me a cardboard box. I'll flatten that thing out, and then I'll really start
Let's
popping.
go. Let's go.
Windmill.
I like to see you do that, man. I like to see this a
I
little
can
bit.
dance. I'm telling you seriously. The only
We
problem,
got people saying no around here.
I didn't care.
Hey, but I love the
it's
confidence.
so-
He's like, oh, no,
I know.
can
Listen,
dance.
listen.
Yeah.
It's time. I've been. I'm telling you, man. I'm like the best white dancer you've seen in a long time.
He said, you ain't never.
But
What's your favorite song to dance to?
I like old stuff like Rick James.
Hey, hold on.
Okay.
We got.
All right.
What does Guido say? If he, tell him shut up.
No. This
It's
is
no,
Scott.
man.
Scott Heckert.
Yeah.
Okay, Scott Heckert asked.
The worst
I want-
dancer maybe ever, dude.
I wanna know
He didn't have an
this.
epileptic fit when he
There's
danced.
a
I remember
story.
him. People give him money when he dances, not because he's a good dancer, because they think he's challenged.
There's a story. Is this true? There's you had a bar fight before the Riddick Bowe Golden Gloves fight?
Oh, shut up, man.
I gotta hear this.
Yeah, come on, man. This is the
Do we really
Lou
wanna
Savarese
go
show.
there?
Yeah, just
All
real
right, so
quick.
listen, we were in a mall. I mean, this guy, he's not the sharpest stack, my buddy Scott. Great guy. He was a good boxer. Good boxer too.
Great guy, not very smart, but great
We're in a
guy.
mall. We meet these young ladies, and so they tell us to go to this bar. We go to this bar, and anyway. So we go there. It turns out we're like the only white guys in the bar, and these young ladies there. And we wind up having a altercation, and I hit the guy. I hit him, and his tooth came out, and got stuck in my finger, and so I can't straighten my finger. Yeah, but we won the
Oh, it
fight.
still is messed up.
And
that's
you
right.
won the Riddick Bowe fight.
No, I couldn't fight. I was in.
Oh, so
I was
you
in
couldn't
fight.
fight the
I couldn't
boat
fight in
because of that bar fight?
Yeah, because of that bar fight.
Oh,
It's his
wow.
fault. It's his fault. He started.
It's his fault.
Oh, he got clocked. He got hit so hard it was terrible. I was across the dance floor and I saw this guy just line him up and hit him and he didn't go down. He's not
Strong
head.
head.
He's not the prettiest, but he got
Man,
balls.
dude.
Yeah.
That was a good fight though.
Wow, man.
Oh, that was the worst part of the whole fight was that it was freezing cold out and like I hit the guy and he looked pretty bad. Like he was hurt pretty bad and we go out to the car and I can't get the car door open because the door's frozen. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead. And they sent this big dude out and he came out and I kicked him in the head and he like looked at me and then fell and I was like, oh my God.
Thank God he
Thank
fell,
goodness.
right?
Whoa.
That was awesome.
Over under bar fights for Lou 20.
Yeah. What do you
Listen,
think?
But no, I'm a good boy. I'm not proud of it, but I could. Nobody could beat me in a street fight. I'm getting old, but there's a lot of people that could dance better than me. But I win the street fight. That was my thing.
Yeah, I bet you'd win that.
I was the angry kid. I don't know why.
All right, y'all. We're sitting over here at Savarese Fight Fit on Lights Out with Lou Savarese with Austin out Trout, man. I
Dude, I
gotta
could
say,
talk to this guy all day, man.
I know, man. This is fantastic, dude.
man, I gotta say thank you for coming in and
Yeah,
sharing
dude.
all
Absolutely,
this
man.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Cool.
This has been awesome, man.
So
This
you
has-
you live here in Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's
We
been
gotta do
flat
this
out
more often,
amazing.
man.
Flat out amazing, man. We've gone over a bunch of stuff. Like,
You get him out in public, they'll be behind him in a minute in Houston.
No
We
doubt.
don't care
Oh,
about,
yeah.
we don't care about Lost
And I plan on, being over here. This
Come
gym,
on.
helping, you know what I mean? Helping
yeah, come out
as
to
much as I
Savarese
can.
Fight Fit, get some training on. We're here every
You never see
single.
none of these bougie white women in yoga pants. They can fight, dude.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to teaching.
We get it's a whole nother show. We can do a whole other show on that, but we're running up
There's
against
a guy over here real quick. He's a famous oil mogul over there, and he grew up with what's his name? The white rapper.
Fertitta.
No, in Dallas. He had money, but he was,
Post Malone.
no,
Post Malone.
Come on,
Post
no,
Malone.
wait, but before that, Ice Ice Baby.
Oh,
Vanilla Ice?
Vanilla
Oh,
Ice.
they were tight. Yeah, they were tight. Yeah.
Like he's shaking his head. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Winkler.
oh man, this is the kind of
But
thing.
you-
but
Ain't that his name?
Yeah,
Winkler?
yeah,
something
really?
like that. But
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's
You
like
realize-
something
Don't tell me,
and that
was it Eugene Winkler?
that's old
No.
school.
and that was kind of like that was me and Jeff. That
Well,
was
that's
kind of
what
our
Michael-
time frame, and we had no idea who you were talking about.
Sorry, man.
I don't put white and rapper with Vanilla Ice.
Me
dude.
neither,
I'm
bro.
sorry, bro.
I'm like Eminem.
Yeah, I was
if,
thinking-
you said Pioneer.
But you're trying to put an oil, you're like oil mogul and white rapper. I was lost.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know where you were going with that.
It'd be too big of a disparity. If we went
all
with
right,
Oil
man.
Mogul and,
Look, it's 9 o'clock,
Just so you
y'all.
know, white
I wanna
rapper
thank,
Eminem, Post Malone, what?
tell
Paul Wall.
Paul Wall, Mac Miller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Hey,
So
hey,
Ice is
Lou.
out?
Lou,
That's
who's
it?
who's Mac Miller?
Nah.
You never heard of Mac Miller?
No.
Who's
that?
Yeah, Ice.
He's
Don't
good.
don't put Ice in that category.
Listen, y'all, got to thank our guest, Austin, Dewayne, Trout, the Austin,
No doubt.
no
Oh, my
doubt, Trout.
What did you just say? Dwayne Trout?
He used my government name, but it's okay.
Goodness, dude.
It's all right.
Come on, man.
I mean, I got a few baby mamas I'm hiding from, but I ain't never gave them my real name. They don't know my real name anyway.
my alias is Lou Winkler.
Look him up, man. We're looking forward to your next fight, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you coming on the show,
Yeah, dude.
man.
Absolutely,
This has been a blast, man. Light Savarese over here at Savarese Fight Fit. Myself, Grant Miles, Lou Savarese, and Austin, no doubt, Trout. Pay attention next Wednesday, man. We'll be back up in here again, y'all. We're out. See ya.
Peace.